Coming up on Mountain News at 6, the latest from Powell County, where a couple has been accused of animal abuse and child neglect. And the early voting period is underway in Kentucky. We'll hear from a couple of Eastern Kentucky clerks about casting those ballots ahead of the primary election.
And enjoy the weather today because rain is back by tomorrow. Those details coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A Powell County mother and father are accused of abusing their 4 children and 24 of their pets. A complaint led animal control and police to a home in Clay City where police say they discovered a home reeking of odor and covered in dog feces. Police charged 42-year-old Matthew Bowen and 35-year-old Lynetta Daniels with criminal abuse and cruelty to animals. They say the 4 children had poor hygiene and were living in deplorable conditions.
There's not really a good place for these juveniles to sleep, and they don't get the proper hygiene. It's obvious, and neither do the dogs or the cats. I think there was upwards of 25 animals that was taken from the home.
Social services placed the children with other relatives, and county officials were hopeful the suspects will release the animals so they can eventually be adopted out. A Breathitt County man is dead after a crash in Lee County. Troopers with the Kentucky State Police post in Richmond were contacted about the one vehicle crash just before 11:30 last night. 45-year-old Teresa Barrett of LaGrange was driving on Kentucky 11 when she struck 59-year-old Thomas E. Caldwell of Jackson, who was on the roadway. Caldwell was pronounced dead at the scene by the Lee County coroner. Barrett was not injured in the crash. A Hardin County woman is in jail after she gave police in Clay County false information about who she was. The incident happened yesterday when police were dispatched to a gas station in Manchester after receiving a call about the woman being upset. Deputies with the Clay County Sheriff's Office say they gave Jordan Starr Ford instructions to which she did not abide by. Police say Ford was slurring her speech and gave them false information about her identity. Folks in Lexington continue to mourn the loss of a Henry Clay High School student. Emmanuel McCaudy died last Friday after experiencing a medical crisis in a classroom. According to his family's attorney, he died from a traumatic brain injury they say he received while trying to break up a fight at school. McCaudy's family said he had no prior health issues leading up to the incident. McCaudy was 17 years old and was set to graduate this month. With the incident that happened at Henry Clay High School, student safety is on the minds of many. When it comes to student safety, Jason Rothermund has some suggestions. As a retired Special Operations Police Sergeant, he says if a student finds themselves near a fight, think of an exit strategy to get help.
You may not be able to stop the conflict. You may not be able to interject in the conflict. You might have to, but if not, we need to be thinking about how can I put some distance between me and this event in case something escalates.
When it comes to students recording altercations on their phones, Rothermund says that can hinder a student's ability to react and put their own safety at risk.
Well, a stray shower cannot be ruled out this evening, but for the majority of us this evening, we are tracking some mainly dry weather on First Alert Pinpoint Doppler. A few light showers or a few sprinkles over parts of southern Floyd County into parts of Letcher County. Also close to US 119 south of downtown Pikeville over in Pike County at this hour. But besides this, we're tracking some dry conditions on this Thursday evening. A live look from the London Corbin Airport, a few peaks of sunshine back in the distance. That temperature also warmer on this Thursday thanks to an increase in that sunshine, up to 78 for Manchester, also in Harlan, 77 for Jackson, also in Moorhead, and up to 79 over in Pulaski County for Somerset at this hour. Some more mainly dry conditions on the way this evening. A small chance of a passing shower, maybe a few sprinkles, but again, for most, we stay dry. Also watching out for some areas of dense fog to wake up on your Friday. as lows are back in the upper 50s to lower 60s. And be sure to enjoy the calm weather while you can, because more rain is on the way by tomorrow and for this weekend. Those details coming up in just a little bit. Olivia?
Cameron, thank you. The COVID-19 pandemic altered the way many states conducted voting in the 2020 election. No excuse early voting gained popularity in the election, and it is a practice the Commonwealth is sticking with for the 2024 voting season. WYMT's Madison Carmouche has more about day one of early voting.
Election officials in the Commonwealth say they have faith in the integrity of the upcoming primary.
I feel like Kentucky is one of the best states, not only because I am a clerk here in the state of Kentucky, but it's one of the best states with accuracy.
Integrity is great in Kentucky. I can't say anything about other states, but in Kentucky, everything is perfect in my opinion. And here in Perry County, we're just cross our T's and dot our I's.
Whitley County Clerk Carolyn Willis says early voting is popular in her county, with nearly 100 early voters casting their ballot before 11 a.m.
It gives our voters actually 4 days to vote. If something were to happen on election day that they couldn't vote, they would feel cheated of not getting to cast their vote.
And in Perry County, Clerk Wayne Napier reminds folks primary elections are a part of their civic duty as well.
Every election's important. Everyone should go out. They say it's not important, but in my opinion, every election's important. This one, we don't have a lot on the ballot, but it's still important to go out and show who you support.
Napier and Willis agree providing early voting to Kentuckians makes the ballot more accessible. Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
No excuse early voting in Kentucky continues until Saturday, and Kentucky's primary election is on Tuesday. Governor Andy Beshear and First Lady Brittany Beshear were seen in Lexington this morning casting their ballot in the Kentucky primary election. Some of the things that will be on this year's ballot include the U.S. House, State House, special state legislature, and more.
Now, voting is the bedrock of our democracy. It should be easy for everyone to be able to cast their vote to decide who is going to represent them on the local, the state, or the national level. But far too many states have made it harder to vote. Here in Kentucky, we made it easier to vote with 3 early voting days.
Secretary of State Michael Adams also cast his vote early today at the Kentucky Expo Center. The Harlan County Fiscal Court is receiving $143,000 in county road aid emergency funds. In a release from the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, officials said the money will be used for bridge repairs on Aspen Lane, which is approximately 5 miles from the city of Everts. Faith Life Market in Pikeville is more than coffee. It is part of a ministry that is working to connect those most in need. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about a project born in Pikeville.
Faith Life Ministries is growing its mission focused on freedom from addiction.
God put the right people in the right place at the right time.
The Freedom Center is working to connect people in recovery with resources and guidance to reclaim their lives.
Before the funding happened, it was a dream. It was something that we hoped we could do for people.
The program, which has coaches in Pike and Letcher counties, serves as a support system funded by a grant from the Kentucky Opioid Abatement Settlement.
This is a life coaching situation where we have a client who they're at a point in their life where they're in recovery, and now what do I do?
Walking alongside those in recovery, connecting them with resources and celebrating their steps.
Maintain sobriety, to maintain recovery, and then it's icing on the cake when you see them accomplish their goals. They get their GED, they enroll in an educational program, they get a job.
Creating a faith-based support system in hopes of avoiding relapses or recidivism.
The goal is to have someone supporting them and cheering them on and helping them if they, with anything they might need. Every client's different. Some of them just need a support system.
With a plan where freedom is at the center. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The program currently has 2 Freedom coaches in place, one in Pikeville and another in Whitesburg. If you or someone you know could benefit from the services, you can find more information on our website.
Well, a soggy weather pattern will continue for this weekend. Your forecast coming up. Plus,
One Eastern Kentucky Police Department hosts a community cookout. We hear from the department's police chief about what the week means to them.